Okay. Well, can you guys respond? Can you guys see my screen clearly?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Right. Okay, let me start. Okay. Well, greetings, everybody. Welcome to our How to Change online talk series. I am the introduction host. I'm Christina from Malaysia. I'm currently one of the Power to Change student ambassador. So welcome to our talk series number 15. So for first timers, so I believe we have some first timers here. Warm welcome to you all. So actually today's session is actually quite special. We never done this before. We conducted it in a webinar way. So previous sessions, we usually do like a interview, between the host and the guest, back and forth like that. But this time, today is kind of different and special. Okay, so before I introduce all the speakers today, let me talk about the agenda a little bit. So today we're gonna talk about we're gonna start with the motivation, why we want to organize this talk series, and introduce Power to Change a little bit, like what is Power to Change. And after that, we follow by Mays sharing. Then after that, May will take over the host position. Then after that, we'll have Matt's sharing with Q&A. Finally, we have Corey's sharing with Q&A. And at the end, we'll have an overall discussion. And at the end, we'll have a group photo. So as you can see, some names here already, like Mays, Matt, Corey. Actually, who are they? So as you can see here on the right side of this slide here, Mays Alejandra. She is originally from Belize. Right now, she's in Taiwan. I think she's been in Taiwan for almost 10 years. And she is the founder of SoulExpressionz. So I don't want to tell too much yet because she will talk more about herself. So I'm gonna leave it like this. So I'm also looking forward to hear May's stories, May's what she's doing, and yeah, I'm so looking forward to it. Welcome, May. And then the next one we'll have Corey, who is the co-founder of DOMI Earth, and he today is also over here now. So he's actually the founder of this Power to Change. Founded this Power to Change, and we student ambassador is helping him to spread this movement to more and more people every day. And the one on the right side is Matt Inman. He is a master's student currently, graduating in National Donghua University in Taiwan. He is originated from US. So he is a circular economy enthusiast. So all three together, they're gonna talk about sustainable packaging in a changing world. So let's, for me, I personally excited for this. So I hope you guys are excited for it too. Okay, so why for the first time, people might, you guys might wonder, why are we doing this talk series? So we can talk a little bit about our motivation here. So why do we, organize talk series twice a month, throughout 2022 this year? Because actually, a lot of things happening every year, good things, bad things. Sometimes people forget what's their true value in themselves. Sometimes they forget what's their purpose. Sometimes. So we are here to promote this thinking, power of choice. So right now, this thinking actually is a very important issue in our generation, because we are here to promote about, help you to find out your goals, help you to realize your purpose in this world. but also to work hard on achieving it. So that's why we are here. That's why we have power to change concept here, to use the power of business to help the people in need as well. So right now, actually, power to change, we have one project here called Energy Prosperity Project. Is that we use the power of business to help the people in need. For example, people, energy poverty household people in Taiwan. And actually now we are expanding this power to change concept to more countries now. For example, Japan, Thailand, and Paraguay now. And hopefully in the future we'll have more. So in the past events, I would like to share more what have we done as a student ambassador in the past events. So in the past events, we promote power to change concept. We promote this and ask people for joining the petition and sign up and be part of power to change. Asking business to contribute part of their savings from the paper bills to e-bills transformation and help the people in need. So our past events, we do it online and offline because in the past we have COVID happening. So most of our events, we also do it online. So we also do offline. For example, we have students going around schools and asking professors to conduct speeches during the class. And as well, we also have booth promotion. So as you can see, we set up a table, we put out power to change merchandise, items, and talk about it with the students around the campus. And it's not just in one campus. We have students from 4 main regions, and we actually set up booth in these campuses, and hopefully we can do more in the future. And as well, in the past events, this one quite significant one, which is we Power to Change student ambassador, we joined Taiwan National Cleanup Day, which is happening in June. I remember it's June, yeah, June or May, somewhere at that time. So this Taiwan National Cleanup Day is, everyone who joined this event, they just go and do cleanup. So we Power to Change also organize some cleanup together in different regions, in the East region, in the South region, in the North region as well. Attract people who cares about the environment and do something about it. And also we promote Power to Change concept there as well. So including this one, talk series, which all of you are here. Thank you for your support for the past months, for joining the talk series. As you can see, we are talk series number 15 today. Of course, thank you for the previous speakers and the previous participants who joined. And of course, today we have a number of people here joining as well. Okay, so before we start this session, I would like to talk more about the upcoming one, because this session today is the final session of this round. And starting August, we will have 7 sessions in the next round, which is round 4. So this round 4, the upcoming one, which is 13th of August, this one is for me because myself, I'm also a circular economy enthusiast and also zero waste lifestyle enthusiast. So this session, this particular session, I'm very excited to listen to it because it's about biodegradable packaging. So this company is called Invisible, and they are doing biodegradable packaging, which is also relevant to today's topic. Okay, so if you are free that day, 13th of August, Saturday, same time, 11 to 12 p.m. like today. Today we make it early because we have 3 people. So this one we have 1 hour per day. And the upcoming one, we have people from Taiwan Dive. We have another co-founder from DOMI Earth. We also have people from other countries as well. Like for example, September, that one is from GoCo. GoCo is from Japan. And we also have people cleaning the ocean, using the ocean cleanup technology to clean up the ocean. People can come to share what they do during our talk series. And also we have environmental education people sharing about what they do in Taiwan. And of course, I have a friend, because I'm from Malaysia, so I have a friend, his name is Jerome. He also conduct this eco school in Malaysia to promote environmental education to the elementary school kids. So yeah, so these upcoming sessions are very interesting and exciting. So hopefully people who join today, you guys can join the upcoming session. We will have Matt to share the IQPass link in the chat box, so you guys can take a look as well. We have IQPass, so because it's easier and has more exposure to more people. So you guys can easily utilize the IQPass more. We will update our upcoming events over there. Okay, so just now when I talk about the cost, this is for Taiwan only. If you are Taiwanese, if you are a foreigner in Taiwan, you can help us to scan this QR code and support our cost. Our cost is actually to convert from paper bills to e-bills, from banks, from what else? Electricity company, water bill, different kinds of bills, utility bills in the petition form. So please do so. Please help us to scan this QR code and take a look, see what we do by scanning the QR code. Okay, thank you. So later I will also share the link later in the chat box as well. Okay, and because and we are student ambassador, like me, Matt, we have other people here too as well, like AJ and Christina, welcome. So we are student ambassador of Power to Change, and we're always looking for more people, because as long as we have more people to help us to carry the movement, all right, maybe one day they go back to their country, they can do the movement there as well. So far right now, we are looking for student ambassador in these 4 countries, Paraguay on the left side, then we have Japan and Thailand and Taiwan. So if you are interested in joining a student ambassador, want to do something different during your school life, right? Even though you are a high school student, no worries. As long as you are students, and if you want to do something different, you want to make a change around your friends, join us. All right, without further ado, thank you for bearing with us for me this introduction host. Thank you. And I would like to pass my host stick to Mays. So Mays is the founder of SoulExpressionz, as I mentioned before. She is from Belize. Right now, she is in Taiwan with us. She is also a writer. So I want to listen to her story more. So without further ado, I'll just pass it to Mays. Mays, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. I take over the baton. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday morning. We're really grateful that each and every one of you are able to make it today. I want to say a little bit about myself, who am I, and why did I create SoulExpressionz. So I came to Taiwan in the year 2012 as a student, bachelor degree student, and then I worked my way up to my master's degree in international affairs. After that, I just started teaching as an English teacher in Taiwan in prim schools, and then now I have the opportunity to be working for an international company that does certification of electric and electronic products. And during the last 2 years, I was working for a previous company, and we had to do some research regarding end-of-life products. And this consisted of knowing about what were the requirements for Germany and France, and what the manufacturers had to do in terms of they are liable for not only for creating their products, selling their products, and shipping them out to wherever it is they're selling it to, but also they need to make sure that they are responsible for what happens to the packaging or to the product for its end of life. And so at this point, I started thinking, I've always been, I thought to myself, I've always cared about what happens to products like packaging. And I remember growing up in Belize, I'm riding I told this to Corey in the past, I'm riding the bus, and then maybe someone is drinking out of a plastic bottle and there is no trash can, or maybe there is a trash can in the bus, but they'd rather take the bottle and throw it out the window. And I didn't agree with this. And I told myself from an early age that I will not litter. And then this is something that has been in an integral part of me, that I care about the environment, how clean it is. And when I came to Taiwan, I can say we, because a lot of us foreigners, we found ourselves taking our garbage with us as far as we could find a garbage bin. I'm not sure if this was the experience for you, Christina, or anyone here in the audience, but we found ourselves, we have to do these things. Why? Because Taiwan cares about how clean the environment is. It's for our health, and not only for that, but it teaches us that we have to care about the environment. And so I jumped a bit further ahead, but if you can see here, I do love nature. We love traveling, my partner and I. In the past, we took advantage of being students. We did backpacking in Southeast Asia. And nowadays, now that we have a baby, we travel to the mountains. We try to explore Taiwan, nature of Taiwan. And apart from that, I find myself that whoever surrounds me, my friends in Taiwan, who I call family, I try to help them become better versions of themselves, and they help me become better version of myself. And in the audience here, we have, I have very good friends that I've made in Taiwan, and they are supporting me in this webinar. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. And if Matt, if you could slide to the others, thank you. So now talking about SoulExpressionz, how I started writing was, I actually started writing when I came to Taiwan, because this was a life's dream, if you can say, the goal. I wanted to write about my experiences in Taiwan. Taiwan just became this paradise for me. I want the whole world, I want all Belizeans back home to know what a great experience Taiwan is giving me and what great lessons Taiwan is giving me. And so in July, I finally told myself, stop dreaming, just do it. So last year, July, I published my first article. We bought the website, and we shared it with our friends, and our friends shared it with their friends. And in December, one of my later articles was featured in more than 3, I can say, national media outlets in Belize. And one of them has more than 30,000 views, which I was really impressed and humbled at the same time, because who would say that via my writing, these people who I'm writing about would become more exposed. And I'm grateful that I can be that what's the word? The help. I can help them. And this year, along with my friend Karina, we have hosted 2 webinars. And the first one, I really loved it because even though the group was very small, it was very interactive and they loved it and they wanted to have another one. And we have been too busy. We haven't done that kind of interactive webinar from that time, but hopefully throughout later this year, or there is a lot of time, we can just continue providing this kind of assistance to entrepreneurs. Matt, can you help me? Next slide, please. Okay, so who's May? Who's Mays Alejandra? I do writing, and the writing is to talk about traveling, not only in Taiwan, but wherever it is that we get to travel. Sometimes I invite people who want to be featured. It doesn't have to be an entrepreneur. It doesn't have to be a business person. I want to focus on the creative industries. Why? Because I feel like this is an untapped market, an underappreciated industry, at least in my country, it is. And also, I find it as a way to give back. So sometimes, if you see on the collab section of this slide, you will see that Belize Taiwan Association has asked me to assist them in the past. And of course, anything that I can help for my country, I'm very grateful to do. And as I said before, we did webinars. And now, of course, today is very important for me because if you go to the next slide, we're talking about, okay, before that, it's talking about just SoulExpressionz, where what has my page reached to. And I'm very grateful and humbled at the same time that, just the readers that I get come from all these places. And you never know. You think you're just writing and one person out there may or may not read your article, but there you have the evidence that people out there are being impacted by what you write. So you have to be careful what you say, right? And next slide, please. Okay, so why today? Why sustainable packaging? Why did I choose to talk about this? Like I said in the past, this is something that came from my childhood days. It came from something I was working with my previous company, and it gave me an opportunity to reach out. I reached out to foreign entrepreneurs in Taiwan. I spoke to them one-on-one. I was hoping that they would join us in this webinar, and I'm still hoping that they can join us throughout the course of the time. And they talked about what they implement, what methods or processes they implement so that they can have their product make a positive impact, not just I'm selling my product with this kind of packaging and that's it. I need to make sure that I make a conscious effort that whenever this product reaches its end of life, there is also something that is contributing to this earth. And why do I focus on responsible consumers, responsible producers? All of us here, we use packaging every day. And you live in Taiwan, maybe everything comes in packages. Even if you don't want it, they will give you in a plastic wrap, right? Even if you don't want the extra packaging, it will come. So we see it every day. We see that there's a lot of packaging, but how can we make it sustainable? How can we help? These entrepreneurs have spoken to me. If you go to the next slide, please. For example, I had the opportunity to speak twice to Jonathan. Jonathan is the owner, is the founder of Daori kombucha in Taiwan. And he was sharing with me that the reason why he chose aluminum cans over plastic or over bottles, which was what he was using in the beginning, is because for him it's a win-win situation, not just for him as a business person, but for those who will use his product and probably want to sell. Why? Because he said in the beginning, he used he used glass bottles, but it turned out that, when you ship the glass bottles, there will be some breakage. And in some breakage, when the product finally arrives to whoever is buying it, that person will say, hey, my product broke. What are you gonna do about it? And then what does he have to do? What does Jonathan have to do? Probably replace it. And it becomes kind of like a cost to him, of course. But if he uses the aluminum can on the shipping process, maybe it will get dented, but it won't break. And if someone calls him back and will say, hey, my kombucha can was dented, and then he'll be like, okay, I can help you. Maybe I can send more for you, or I can give you a discount. And they will say, it's okay. So not just that, at the end of when the person has already finished drinking their kombucha from the aluminum can, guess what? You can sell the aluminum can. It has a value. Its end of life has value, right? So for him, this was a smart move to make, not just for profit, but also to help the environment. Jonathan was sharing with me that he likes to do scuba diving. And another reason why he does not use plastic as the beverage container, the packaging, is because when he goes scuba diving, he will see the plastic. In down 5 meters, he will be picking up the plastic out of the water. And you have that in your mind. You're conscious of, what if I'm the one producing these products and you imagine you see your kombucha container floating in the water when you're scuba diving. How will you feel, right? So his conscious effort is to make his product, the container, to be the aluminum can. And in this way, he's also helping the environment. So I wanted to talk about him because he shared this with me. And also there was another company that shared a little bit. I'll just speak a little and then I'll leave the mic to Matt. So this company, they said that they're selling some pepper sauce in Taiwan. And the pepper sauce comes in the glass bottle. But when you put the glass bottle in its other packaging, you have to wrap it. You use the bubble wrap. And that person told me that never in their business, from the time they started their business up to now, they never had to buy the bubble wrap, because they reached out to the community and said, if you have the bubble wrap that you receive from other products that you buy, can you send it to us? And in this way, you are helping the environment, right? And so all the bubble wrap they've used is from donations. And I think that's a great thing. That's a great thing that the community is doing to help a business person, and not just to help that business person, but helping the environment. And for me, this was an inspirational story. And now I want to stop speaking here, and I want to give the floor to Matt Inman. Matt is the organizer of this talk series, and Matt has been he has constantly reached out to me, make sure that this webinar goes great, checking all the details, and I'm so grateful for him for offering to give speech, to speak during this webinar. So Matt, thank you so much, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks, Mays. So I'll just check, can you see my presentation? Someone? Yeah. Okay, cool. So hi everyone, nice to meet you. I know some of you, but not all. Thanks for joining on a random Saturday morning. I know that's not easy. So just quickly, just a little background on me. Yeah, Christina said I'm from USA, but I consider Taiwan home. I've been here 5 years and I have no plans to go back to that crazy place. So yeah, I'm trying to build my life here. And I'm just about to finish my master's thesis in Hualien, which I did on circular economy. And then, yeah, next week, actually, I'll move to Kaohsiung, and I plan to live there for a long time. So if you're in Kaohsiung, let me know. So first of all, I'm curious, and I want this to be like a little interactive, at least in the chat box. So I'm curious, just tell me like yes or no in the chat. Are you familiar with the concept of circular economy? So I'm just curious about that. So yeah, and then also I'm like trying to, I'm also an English teacher. I've been a teacher for like 10 years. So I'm trying to, but it's always been about English. So I'm trying to like build more of a environmental education like base. So I do have like an Instagram called Eco Journeyman, where I try to like educate people about these kind of issues. So that's me. Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, okay, that's good. That makes me happy. All right, but let's start. I want to start with a little trivia. All right, so I want to know. So plastic packaging, you know, that can be like, you know, you buy like the bread at the bakery, it has that plastic on it, or you know, just anytime you see you buy something from Shopee, it comes to 7-Eleven, it has plastic around it. So you know, you see it every day, like May said. So I want you to guess around the world about what percent of that plastic packaging can actually be like effectively recycled. So just drop a number in the chat. Let's see if you guys, what you guys think about what percent can be recycled. Don't be shy. 10 down to 5. Wow, okay, 5. Oh, you guys are pessimists, but you're right. It's only 14%, which is crazy when you think about how much we use every day, right? That's pretty low. Oh, you guys know your stuff. All right. So in 1950, about 2.3 million tons, you know, a ton is 1,000 kilograms, right, of plastic were produced. So 2.3 million tons. But how about now? About how many tons do you think are produced every year of plastic? So that was about 72 years ago. It was 2.3 million. 6 million. 20. 15. 6 billion. Okay. All right. So the answer, yeah, I wish you guys were closer to being correct, but it's 380 million. So from 2.3 to 380, that's more than exponential. That's insane, okay? So clearly there's a problem. I think you guys know this, but I think just to give you an idea. All right, and then to keep it relative to Taiwan, you see it all the time, you know, 1 million tea shops, 1 million 7-Eleven. How many, if you had to take a guess, how many single-use cups, meaning you use it and then you throw it away, how many of those are used in Taiwan every year? And that includes like the paper ones, right? Even though the paper ones have a plastic lining usually, but yeah, how many single-use cups are used in Taiwan per year? What do you think? Can't even imagine. Yeah. And just for reference, you know, there's about 24 million people in Taiwan, okay? So more than 1 billion. Mays is, yeah. So if you double Mays's guess, you'll get it, 2.2 billion. And that equals about 92 per person. That's insane, right? Just, it's way too much. And like, just in case you didn't know, you know, if you, actually, I just got my coffee at 7-Eleven today. If you bring your own cup, it just passed this month, July 1st, like every shop should, you know, not all of them are compliant, but they should give you a 5 NT discount on any beverage if you bring your own. So there's a tip for you. So yeah, hopefully this, you know, builds a little picture. Oh, I skipped a slide, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. So yeah, there's cups, 2.2 billion. So hopefully this gives you a picture of why this is a big issue, right? So now circular economy, a lot of you guys said you already know what it is, so I won't spend too much on it. But, you know, most things we do today are, we use a linear economy in a line. We extract resources, we make something, we use it, we throw it away. Even though throwing it away, that's a myth. You don't throw it away, it goes somewhere, right? So that's, we can't extract resources forever because the earth is a finite place. We don't live, we don't have infinity stones like Marvel, right? So we're gonna run out, so we can't do that forever. So circular economy is about making things that can be reused. So it starts at the design process. Like if we design something that can be used long-term or reused, then we don't have to extract resources from the earth continuously. So that's the idea. So right now for plastic packaging, this is kind of what happens now. So remember I said 14% is recycled. So yeah, some of it is recycled, but so this is just for the packaging part, 78 million tons. 40% just ends up in the landfill, just goes to landfill, which creates microplastics and all that stuff. I won't even get into that because that's a whole nother topic. 32% leaks into our waterways and all that stuff. So that's we got to stop this at the source, because it's not good for the environment. It's not even good for our own health as humans, right? So circular economy, like I said, it's about design. Designing something to be effectively used long term, and then producing it, using it, and then recollecting it, so that we can clean it or extract the good parts that are still left and do it all over again. So wasting something is the last resort when it comes to circular economy. We want to waste as little as possible, so that we can reduce how much we extract or how much we waste. So when it comes to trying to do this in terms of plastic packaging, especially in the food drink service, I know some of you guys I think are business owners yourself. So there's 4 basic models that the Ellen MacArthur Foundation recommends, and I can share later a PDF about this with you. That's really interesting and gives a lot of good examples. So refill at home, return from home, refill on the go, return on the go. So you can, sure you can imagine how these are different from each other. So these are just the basic models. Refill at home, I used to live in Korea, and they used to have for food panda type situations, instead of bringing you the paper box with your food and the paper cup, they would bring you real dishes. And after you finish eating, you would just put it outside of your door and let them know you finished. And yeah, cuts down so much waste, but they stopped doing that. So yeah, these things, the problem is that these things cost more money up front, right? But that's the problem that needs to be solved. But so there are solutions to this. We like we saw, the plastic has gone up so much. So in 1950, what were we using it for? So yeah, we weren't using so much plastic just that long ago. It doesn't. So that means it's not impossible to go back to that way. So we just gotta think of new ways and innovate, basically. So reuse, it can be good for businesses too, because it helps you cut down the cost, long term, because you don't need to keep buying these crappy plastic things that don't last forever. You can invest. Yes, it will take more money up front to get better materials that can be reused, but it will save you money in the long term if you do it right. And it can create brand loyalty, because if your logo is always on whatever that reusable thing is, then someone's gonna keep using it because you're giving them some benefit for using that over and over, So I'll put the link to that PDF in the chat right now. If you want to check that out later. It includes this one and some other ones. And you can customize, or I could talk about this all day, but I won't, because that'll take too long. But yeah, there's a lot of benefits to having some kind of reuse model that will bring people back and back. So in terms of in Taiwan, one example, it literally is for packaging. It's called Package Plus, and I'll also put a link to their website. So it's exactly what it looks like. They provide reusable packaging for shipping stuff. So if you have a business and you are shipping things out often, these bags, they're made of, I forget the material, some kind of polyester or something. And you send it to your customer, for example, and then the customer can just drop it off at Family Mart or wherever, and then it will, the system keeps going in a circle like it should. So you get the money back if it's returned properly or whatever. And they're pretty new, but they're growing more and more. I think they're mostly only in Taipei right now. but yeah, they're growing more and more, which is good. So you can keep your eye out for stuff like that, you know. And then, so also don't be afraid to share your thoughts. You know, what do you think I wrote here? I want to see what you guys think of this. If you think it's a bad idea or whatever, I want to hear it. Okay. So another one, this is like an idea. It's taking off in Europe. So it's for specifically, this one is for cleaning products. So you can see like the main bottle, that part, you just buy one and you keep it forever. But in terms of the individual, you know, the different cleaning products you need, you buy just the refill cartridge, basically, put it on there, right? And so that goes back to the customizable thing where you can, you know, this spray bottle can be used for so many things. Like I would use it to spray my cats to get out of the way, but that's just water, so I don't need the thing. But there's so many different things that can be used for this, right? You know, like fertilizer for your plants or whatever. And you can use, you know, the same bottle over and over again. So that's just one example of this. And then there's this one, which this is probably my favorite one. This is a startup in Chile, but I think they're expanding to other South American customers. So it's called Alegramo. And basically it's a truck that has like refillable like detergent and, you know, all these kind of like household products you need that, you know, you buy these huge bottles and then they do last pretty long when you buy something like that, but you do have to replace it over and over again, right? But these trucks, they just drive around the city, you know, like an ice cream truck, maybe play music, or I think on the app, you can like track when and where it will be. And you just bring your bottle and, you know, just refill your thing like that. And then they also are like expanding into supermarkets where it's just like a vending machine. You just put your bottle in and refill that way. You've probably seen in Taiwan, you can do that for water. You know, you bring like the big jug and you just put it up and fill, which I have used before. So it's similar to that, but for other things as well. So I think that one's really cool. Like Taiwan's like a small place. So I think it's definitely doable here with like the right investment or whatever, you know. And so next one, so it doesn't have to be just for food or, you know, cleaning products. So this one is like, you know, toothpaste. It's a simple one that you think of, but like every toothpaste tube you've ever used still exists and toothbrush for that matter, because, you know, that is really hard you can't recycle that stuff because you don't get every little bit of toothpaste out of it, right? And it's just not worth it for them to clean it and try to reuse that. So this is like a new way. You've probably seen like, you know, these tablets, you just like chew it and it becomes toothpaste in your mouth. What do you guys think about that? I don't know. I think it's cool, but I can't find it in Taiwan or even on Shopee. So I'm stuck with the traditional thing for right now. And then this one is like for cream, like lotion or whatever. Yeah, same thing with the refill situation. So refill is like a really good one to prevent needing to buy these new plastic bottles or whatever every single time, you know. Why is it going that way? All right, and then this one's probably more related to you guys if you're business owners. So Dab It Drop, this one is in London. So basically they're like a middleman for restaurants. So they provide a container and then give it to you. But when you're done with it, they will take it back. And you pay like a deposit, you know, extra amount when you are using this service, just to ensure they get it back, you know, so that if you don't return it, they don't lose, you know, money, right? But if you give it back, you get that money back. So it's really a win-win situation for everyone, I think. So that one has a lot of potential, I think, as well. So in terms of Taiwan, there's a lot going on here. Qingpiao, maybe you've heard of them. We at Power to Change, we use them before. So they basically rent out cups and other like tableware. So yes, it is plastic, but it's, you know, durable, stronger plastic than just the single-use stuff, right? So basically, right now they're only being used for like events, like marathons or that kind of stuff. So they just ship you all the things you need. You know, maybe you say we're gonna have 100 people. They'll send you enough for 100 people. You use it. You don't even need to clean it. You just put it in the box, ship it back to them, and then once they get it back, they give you the deposit money back. And then they have like some really good like cleaning technology that they use to clean it. And yeah, you don't waste anything except the box that you send it back to them. So it cuts down a ton of waste for that. And then UCUP, U stands for university. So I think 5 universities in Taiwan have this. So mostly in Taipei. So they have made partnerships with like all the tea shops, cafes, whatever around the university. And so you can use this cup. So I can go to Cafe A, drink a coffee. I paid more for it to get the cup. But maybe tomorrow I go to the tea shop over there, I return that one and I get back a new one. So I just like, it's literally a circle. That's how it works. And yeah, you just cut down on that waste, right? And this one is in Tainan, good to go, but I think they're trying to expand into Taipei as well. So this one, similar thing, like they have partnerships with different restaurants, cups and like takeout boxes. So the restaurant, certain restaurants have a partnership with them. They have these things, and then you take it, you eat whatever, and then you just go to their little kiosk and return it. And they will clean it and return it to one of the partner restaurants. So that's cool. And then Uproot was started by, Christina, can you help me in the comments? Where are they from? Foreigners in Taiwan also. And it is a bioplastic made from cassava. So it's 100% biodegradable. So it's not totally the answer because it still does produce some waste, but it is 100% biodegradable within like 2 weeks, I think they said. And we had them, from Paraguay, yes, thank you, from NCCU. They won the Holt Prize, if you've heard of that. And they're trying to grow this in Taiwan. It's really cool. It's very durable, not a paper straw. You know, it feels like a real straw, but it will be biodegradable. So they're cool. We had them on a previous talk series session. So if you want to hear more about them, you could find that on our Facebook page. It was really cool to hear their story, how they came up with that. So this one is in Taichung. It's called NCHU R-Share. So it's kind of similar to the other ones, but this is totally student-led. Like a few students decided they want to try this out, and these purple dots represent a restaurant. Each one is one restaurant near the university. So they all partnered together, and I think they got funding from the university to help them. But yeah, same kind of deal. You go to this restaurant, you get takeouts with the reusable materials, and then later you can return it to any other restaurant and get your deposit back. So that's pretty cool, I think. So just another example. So now to me, so like I said, I just finished, or I'm on the verge of finishing my master's degree in Taiwan about circular economy. So it was survey based. So this was like the dashboard info sheet I showed to people before doing the survey. So basically just explaining everything I just explained to you. And I interviewed a lot of like stakeholders here, including the Taiwanese EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, some businesses about circular economy, related to circular economy, and a NGO who is trying to advocate for eliminating single-use plastic. So through interviewing them, I like built up a framework to interview or survey people in Taiwan. So I surveyed 408 people in Taiwan, mostly Taiwanese, but I also want a little bit of the foreigner perspective. So one question I asked them is, do you believe plastic waste is an issue in Taiwan? And you can see most people either agree or strongly agree, like, 94%, that's a ton, right? So then after that, next I asked them, do you believe businesses in Taiwan should do more to reduce plastic waste? And again, a huge percent of them said yes. So people do care about this, So, but like May said, even if you don't want it, people just give it to you. And it's just convenient to get these things, right? Like there's not really an alternative in many situations. So you just do what you got to do to get your food, get your whatever. But people, at least according to my survey, and I must say it's not published yet, so take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But according to that, people, they want something to be done about it, right? And then, but they want business to do something about it, but most people are also willing to pay more to help build these kind of business models that help reduce plastic waste. So if you are thinking about trying to implement something like this, don't assume people will be scared away if you increase your prices a little bit, right? As long as you, I think, in my opinion, this wasn't covered in my survey, but if you make it clear that there's a price increase because you're trying to, stamp out plastic pollution and these kind of things, I think you'll be surprised that a lot of people are on board with that idea and would be willing to pay a little more for that idea, And then, it's not just on the businesses. A lot of people also said they'd be willing to pay a little more tax to help build these kind of things, right? So this, to me, it shows a lot of people in Taiwan are willing to contribute to this problem as well, right? And then in terms of what do people value the most when it comes to establishing these kind of businesses? So there's 5 main things people said they were willing to pay. From 1 to 5, people were willing to pay more for number 1 compared to 5, but all of them, they were willing to pay. So I think the 2 yellow ones I highlighted will apply more to you guys or business owners. So community workshops to increase perception, to know more about these kind of issues. People want to know, and they think people should be educated about it. So sure, that's on schools and stuff, but it can be up to businesses as well, which I'll mention in a second. And also points and incentives. People want to be further incentivized to do that, right? So you might need to increase your prices if you're a business owner to help you, invest in like a new model. But if you can get some of that back by incentivizing people to come use your kind of thing, So I'll talk about that too. And then, but they also want the government to do a lot, They want to provide you guys, business owners, with funding or subsidies to help you get better at building these kind of models. And they want the government to make more policies to like ban single-use plastics as well, so that businesses that have circular economy in their model can rise up, right? Because as long as single-use plastic is readily available, people are just going to do that because it's easy, it's convenient, like I said, right? So I hope that's clear, but yeah, those are the main takeaways from my study so far. So how about me? What am I doing? So I'm also not a business owner, but I have a startup with my good buddy in Kaohsiung named Jamie Lewis. Maybe you know him. So we're pretty new and we're about to like hit the ground running kind of, but we have a circular model. So right now we do have plastic bottles, but we plan to phase those out pretty soon, totally. And we have glass bottles. So the glass bottles are a little more, but not too much more, just a little bit. And we have the deal where if you use a glass bottle and then return it to us, you get a small percentage back. So that's that incentive thing I was talking about. And we have like a, buy 10 glass bottles, get the 10th free kind of deal. So but that doesn't exist for the plastic bottles. So, we did decide like, we're okay to make a little bit less money if it means we can cut out the plastic. So for us, that's something that's more important than money or profit or whatever. Of course, profit is important if you're a business, but to us, like to make a little bit less to help with these environmental issues, that's totally worth it. So we also will be implementing pretty soon, like these stainless steel reusable cups. We plan to buy those pretty soon, and we will use those at events such as, Christina mentioned the beach cleanup. So when we went to the beach cleanup in May, we brought our drinks there and we used it as an opportunity to let people try and use the glass bottles there. And some of them even finished it right then and there and then gave it back to us. We gave them their money back. Cool, easy. And we plan to host more beach cleanups coming up pretty soon, especially in Kaohsiung. So stay tuned for that. And we also host like a twice a month bowling activity where we also bring drinks, glass ones, and we will also bring those cups to there. So the cups, you pay X amount of dollars extra, but as long as you give it back to us, we will give the deposit back to you. So that's something we're doing. So we're planning to do a lot more events like that, where we just host like a fun event, but hey, if you want to buy this and try our circular model, you can. So that's what we're doing. And yeah, that's all for me for now. So thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Matt. It's very, for me, it teaches me about many things. And one of the things that you mentioned was all the different companies that are trying to remodel the way they package their products. For example, there was one I didn't see, but in their pictures, but I thought it was interesting. It was the deodorant, you know.
Oh,
they
yes.
send you, and then they put it inside like a container, and then all you have to do is just replace the bar.
Right. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I saw that. And also once my friend last year, my friend bought me an earring for my birthday, and the packaging in which it came was not plastic, which normally it comes maybe like plastic or like a little paper cute gift box.
Right.
Handmade cloth material.
Right.
And I felt it was very special to me because I can keep this little pocket purse kind of.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that too. Yeah, that's cool.
I can even put other earrings if I have them as small as they are.
Right.
Use that packaging. So different companies are trying to implement different strategies so that
right. Yeah, that's the thing. You just gotta think about like what works for whatever you're doing, and just find out what can be a way to solve that problem for your specific thing. So
yes. So now I want to ask the audience, from all the companies that you saw Matt mentioning, which one, at least the ones, if you're in Taiwan, which ones have you seen before? And you can mention it in the comment section. Which ones have you seen? I remember he said he saw some in, some of them belong, they're in Thailand, right, Matt?
Yeah, this Good to Go is in Thailand, yeah. And UCup is mostly in Taipei.
Okay, so we feed Uproot a lot.
Oh, cool. That's good.
Uproot, you're doing a great job. You're here in our audience. You can see that you're doing a great job at advertising. And yes, actually, I met up with one of the girls from Uproot before I went to my trip in Belize.
Cool.
And I brought their products because in Belize, if I'm not mistaken, they have banned single-use plastic.
Nice. Okay. Did not know that. That's good. Cool.
So now the companies are looking into how they can still give that packaging that the people require. And I thought, okay, great. I can bring Uproot's products to Belize and try to reach different business people. And as many as I spoke to, I wasn't successful. So sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. Getting the word out is important. So.
Yes. And we try to do our little part to help here in Taiwan, wherever we're from. And now when Corey will I hope that Corey can mention what he did mention to me in the past, is that those of us who are foreigners here in Taiwan, we can learn about the different strategies that businesses are implementing here. And if we want to open a business and we are going to look into what packaging we'll use, we can bring those experiences and bring that knowledge back to our countries. I want to ask the audience, if you have any questions for Matt, whether it was something he said or something you want to know more, please feel free to open your mic, and I leave the floor to you. So who's brave? Let's see. Anyone brave in the audience?
If not, it's okay. We can always connect later also. As you can tell, I love talking about this thing. So yeah, feel free to.
You can just leave your question in the chat box.
Oh, we have someone?
Hi.
We have someone.
I wanted to say that I really enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you.
I really like how you made us aware of more than what is happening in Taiwan, but also from around the world. It's also a great way to pull ideas, right? So a lot of the things is pulling ideas that are actually working and then implementing in the country that we're living in. So for me, this talk has been useful because I do have a company in Belize, and what I am going to do is I'm going to be expanding into products very soon. And I will not be selling products myself, but I will be working with Belizeans who sell products. So I think it's good information for me to have so I can share with them when they are trying to figure out how to go about making their products more sustainable, right? And more environmentally friendly. So I really appreciate what you've, the information that you've shared. I do wonder though, if you have seen how, like, do you think it's easier for businesses to implement these types of packaging? And if there are any steps that a business can take to make it a bit easier for them to move from that, you know, one-use plastic to being able to use that, if there's like, say, companies that make it easier to connect with the other companies that offer this, or is this something that a business person needs to go and do their own research and find out the information themselves?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think right now, like that's kind of the point of my research, is that I want to be able to show the government that people want this, and that like businesses want them to help them as well. So right now, yeah, there's not, you do have to kind of do it on your own, I think. I mean, but like some of these guys, they were very gracious to let me interview them. So I think, you know, like collaboration is a big part of it too. So I think at least for some of these businesses, they would be willing to like talk to you and like help you, you know, maybe like have some kind of collaboration effort, you know. But besides that, yeah, there's not an established like way to figure these things out for sure.
Okay, I guess that's something that would be very useful, especially for small businesses, right? Because access to information is a very time consuming for you to have to run a business and also find out this information on your own.
Yeah, so, for sure. It is. Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Matt. Thank you very much. Like I said, your presentation was really great.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Okay. So guys, please stay on because we still have Corey. But before Corey, we have a question from FB Live. So the person says, thanks for the brief explanation about the CE and reusable business. I don't know whether I missed out this part, but in my experience, when I ask my friends to take own cups or tableware to reduce plastics, my friends, whether they're Taiwanese or foreign students, they tell me that we also have to pay for the boxes, the drink cups. Even if we bring our own things, we still have to pay the same price. This person saying we are in Taiwan and that maybe not many businesses are doing this CE. I don't see any good to go at Thailand as well. I wonder how to encourage my friends about it, even though we don't get any discounts.
Okay, yeah, that's a tough one. But yeah, so if your friends are already if they don't care, that means they probably don't understand why it's an issue, right? Which is a problem. But you can, you know, show them these stats that I showed you, you know, why plastic is such a problem, and search about, you know, microplastics and how by 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Like for me, that's enough to like, just, you know, make me, wow, think that I got to do something. So I think just, yeah, I mean, don't just make a presentation and say, do this, but just like casually mention like, oh, I learned, you know, that, did you know that like there's gonna be more plastic than fish in the ocean by 2050? So you just gotta tell them like, it's not that much of an effort to just bring your thing. And like there's companies, there's another one I'll put in the chat box. It's called, I might have spelled it wrong, but it's called Apakit. It's another small company in Taiwan. So they make little bags that you can put any food in them. You can like heat it up, you can do anything. It's very eco-friendly. So it means it's easy to put, you know, to carry around. It folds into like a neat little bag and you can just put any food in there. Like it's super easy. So it doesn't have to be like a big inconvenience. Thank you, Christina. I was way wrong. A good day. It doesn't have to be a big inconvenience, you know. So just, I think, slowly try to share with your friends what you've learned about why we should do this, rather than focus on the discounts or something. That's just the added bonus to me of doing these things sometimes. So
I want to say, as for my part, sometimes we do tell our friends this is what we hope to do, and we do meet people that are willing to try, they're willing to bring their own container. But what we can do is just we do it ourselves. If our friends don't want to do it, it's okay. You do it, and by them seeing you doing it, maybe they can pick up your habit slowly, but probably surely. And then they will probably see whenever they meet someone else, and then that person is doing the, I bring my own container to wherever I go, and they'll be like, they'll remember you. They'll be like, oh yeah, my friend does that. And maybe they will be encouraged, maybe 0.01%, a little more encouragement to do it, right?
Right, yes, for sure. Okay, and I see AJ has a question. He just said, people who voted for it being an issue. I mean, I think you just walk down the street in Taiwan and you see it's everywhere, right? So I think people are starting to realize, like, not only is it good for the environment, but also it just makes Taiwan look better, or wherever you are, to not have this stuff just all over the place, right? So I think it's starting to catch on that it's, a real problem. So
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. So before we go to Corey, thank you so much for everyone who's still with us, and those of you who are still watching on the Facebook. Please continue staying with us, because now we have Corey. Corey is the co-founder of DOMI Earth in Taiwan. It's a B Corp, and he will explain more about this. Thank you, Corey.
Hi, everyone. Great to see you. Thank you for the introduction. And it's wonderful to speak after Mays and Matt. It already provides a lot of foundation for what we're talking about today. I want to kind of approach this more from a business perspective. I have been a senior entrepreneur. I started my first company when I was 15. I took company public when I was 24. And I think I was skeptical about this whole sustainable movement in the beginning. Maybe 10 years ago when I have an opportunity to hear about it, but I didn't care about it too much. It was just something that I feel like, that we talked about, but we're not gonna do anything about it. But I think the whole journey started was when this sustainability got to do with my own life. So I had my second daughter, and then I started to realize, hey, in the past 10, 15 years of me doing business, how come the world seems to be getting worse? And is that something I want to leave for the kids? Or I just take them and run away to some other country? So I think that's a critical mind shift for myself. And I actually started to see a lot of that happening with business leaders, people inside companies, managers, that they feel like they don't want to just go to work, but they want to also make a difference at the same time. So I started the B Corp movement about 7, 8 years ago in Asia. I realized that at that moment in time, globally, there's only 6 B Corps over here. So it's much needed. We have, in Asia, we have 44% of carbon emission coming from here, and 41% of social issues that's coming from Asia. So if we're not doing it much over here, I think globally, we're not going to have that shift. So that's kind of where I position my attention to, is can we have innovations coming from here that tackling these issues and are able to kind of share this experience with a lot of similar regions, like Latin America, Africa, that we have a similar kind of economic pathway that before, the US, Europeans are starting the business developments, now it's trickling to these countries. So my approach today, I want to focus more on the business side, how business work. And so I'll talk about these 3 companies, Logitech, 1B Barker, and Power to Change. by DOMI. And the first one is a new company, which is a very, very old and traditional company that everybody probably have it on their table, the mouse and keyboards, right? They've been around for a long time, they're industry leader. But only a couple of years ago, when they realized that they have a responsibility in this, and what are the stuff that they did in the short few years to make that change. And then the second company has been around for about 10 years, Warby Parker, is a glasses company, and how they innovate through their business model to tackle issues. So I think in this transition from Logitech to Warby Parker, you're going to see environmental issues is critical. We need to tackle something to design for sustainability. But at the same time, if you combine that with social issues, that's where you get an additional or exponential growth to it. So I think as human beings, we still respond more on social issues than environmental issues. So as an organization, how can you tackle both? And that is the kind of the direction and philosophy I want to emphasize. And then you'll see also what happened with DOMI, that the key design of care and simple, how these two things help it to grow in such a short time when it launched Power to Change within a year or so. All right. So let's look at Logitech first. So Logitech it's a designing company, right? They don't really manufacture, but they focus on how to design a great product. And they came up with this new philosophy for their organization called Design for Sustainability. Designing for what? Designing for people and environment. So they have this mindset set up in the very beginning that they need to create a way to be sustainable for planet and society. So not only for the planet, you kind of see it in their communication. So look at their internal like videos. Okay, so you look at their internal communication. It's that they want to make sustainability pervasive inside their company, right? It's a large organization. It needs to be reflected, the value reflected in the culture. And the last sentence here is that it's not only about circularity, but also social impact for everything they do, right? So they set that statement and vision very clear inside the organization for this shift. And this shift only happened a few years ago. I have to say, it's very, very short. After you deduct COVID, we're talking about maybe 1-2 years only that they started making this change. So they started with carbon clarity, right? Exactly how much carbon that the product's representing, right? So we're talking about packaging, but they have a goal for that particular packaging, right? So they started with carbon labeling, how much is our carbon emission. And so before that, they have this commitment. We're not fighting for 2.2 degrees. We're not fighting for 2 degrees of climate pledge. We're fighting for 1.5. Because if we fight for 2 degrees, then basically I think we'll probably lose Belize, Taiwan, we'll probably lose all the Caribbean islands if we pledge for 2 degrees, right? So they set that commitment with the organization in the beginning, and then they move on this journey about how to improve their packaging, how to improve their manufacturing. So it's important that yes, you can improve the design, but the design needs to have a purpose, and the purpose is carbon neutrality. How do we, on one hand, reduce our carbon, on second hand, offset as quick as possible? So by 2021, which is last year, the whole company already reached carbon neutrality. So in the beginning, if you look at this right-hand side, inside the box, it shows that how much carbon emission come from this particular product. And then by 2021, it has a 0 on it, right? And that's important and that's powerful, because somebody was mentioning that, well, how do we get our friends on it? If more and more companies are communicating this, besides government, besides NGO, and besides you, then the rest of the communication in our life, it's actually corporate. So corporate being part of that communication to consumer is critical. So they started doing this, and then they have another goal going forward. By 2030, their production has to be 0 emission. So that's a great innovation and change in manufacturing that needs to happen in this coming 8 years. And lastly, past 2030, they want to aim for climate positive, meaning that how do we generate more positivity for every product we sell? So the labeling was 7.84 kilogram if you buy that mouse, and then by 2021 is say 7.84 by shows carbon neutral, right? So this takes a lot of communication and innovation within and mobility within the organization to make that happen, and towards the end goal of climate positive and climate justice. So this is their product, how they label it, and then the whole organization will focus on 2 things. One is footprint, and I want to introduce this concept of handprint, right? So for organization, I like you to look at, for those people that want to be in the business, want to work for business, want to start up a business, think about these 2 things at the same time. Don't just think about packaging, all right? It's very important, the packaging part. It's very important to have a circular, but having these 2 elements at the same time with your design. It's one, are we impacting on our footprint? And second, are we advancing humanity and biodiversity with our business, communicating that, all right? So the second case I wanted to share is Warby Parker. Some people might know about it, they're mainly in the US. But they innovated this model of home try-ons. So they don't have physical stores, but they're number 1, 2 in the market right now for selling prescription glasses. And they innovated this model that you just go online, pick the frames you want, and they ship it to you, right? So on one hand, they save a lot of costs, also carbon emission, compared to their competitor, which has 850 stores in the US. Right? Think about 850 stores plus the electricity and all these materials, right? And so that's the key part that they innovate, is that they come up with a completely different model. And then you can ship it to your house, and then 100% for free. You try it, and then pick the one you want, and then ship the rest back. And then when you ship the rest back, they carbon neutral the whole process. So not only they reduce on the retail side, but they also reduce on the efforts of their business model. So this is how they help.
That's why we developed the Virtual Vision Test app. Use it to renew your expired glasses or contacts prescription from home with your phone in about 10 minutes. If everything looks good, a doctor will renew your prescription for $15. It's as easy as reading the eye chart at a doctor's office, except you're at home, on your.
Okay, and then for every product you buy from them, they give a pair to children, people that's in need. So that's the completion of footprint and handprint. Is that on one hand, every behavior, every business interaction you have this organization, it doesn't impact on the environment. But at the same time, it actually impacts the community, right? And this is the design of it. And so far, they have reached out to 50 countries. More than 10 million people receive those glasses. And this is the impact.
This pair of glasses is also a tool of empowerment, whether it's to be able to learn in the classroom or to separate seeds to plant or to thread a needle. It's not just about increasing profits, it's about how can we be active problem solvers.
So that's a new position that we're seeing happening with company now. is that they take a stand in the community, not only for environment, but also solving a particular issues that they see. And this is the support they get. Celebrities start backing up these glasses. So it end up increasing their sales tremendously. Right now, the company is valued at $1.2 billion US, right? And just by doing a simple model that on one, don't do your business at the cost of your environment, your planet, at the places that you live. But at the same time, how can we improve at the places that we live, right? So this is what they're doing, and then they, let me show you a quick video about.
Okay, so how did the idea for Spinnies come about?
So I sent a video to Neil and Dave at Warby with this idea that I had.
Hey, Neil.
Hi, Neil. Hi, Dave. Hi, everyone at Warby Parker.
We didn't know how he got our email address. We really just assumed it was spam.
What if someone invented like a little kind of ball bearing or something up there?
So you're wearing sunglasses, right? You're waiting in line somewhere, like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Can I get a coffee? You order it, yeah. What size? Grande, You're waiting, you're standing there, you start doing what? Fidgeting, spinning the sunglasses around. But it stretches the glasses a little bit. It's a little clunky. I mean, that always happens to me. Someone gets hurt, you're not allowed back in that coffee shop.
So they actually, because of this, they're inventing the little knob on their glasses so you can spin. And then whoever buys the spinning glasses, you actually support prescriptions and also support cataract surgeries for people that's in need. So that's a very interesting business model that you're seeing right now, is that they first innovate the home try-on. They go carbon neutral, and then they do one pair, buy a pair, give a pair to the people that's in need. That has a long-term impact with glasses and without glasses. And then they're getting the support for celebrity, right? That's what happened when you are doing something that you and other people care about at the same time. So having that, resonating that care is very important. So let me, get to the last case of DOMI. And then some of you know it, so I'm gonna look at it in a new perspective. And then, and so when you start resonating that care with consumer, that becomes the energy that you can capture. And you need to find ways for that to happen among the stakeholders that could be relevant to this whole thing. And then you have this rippling effect and the, what I call the network effect, a social network effect that happens. So some of you might know that DOMI model started with this two things. One is the banks, telecoms, that they become part of the business model with DOMI, that if we help the banks to reduce their paper usage by asking consumer to switch to a digital interface, then bank will provide money to DOMI, right? So that's one part. We're doing the environmental part. But the second piece to that is that with that money, part of that money goes into help poverty households. So we're reducing energy poverty inside different countries. And then with that outcome with the poverty household, it actually reduce the electricity use of the household. So then the environment benefit even better. And then this other two element actually was not in our design. One is we started discovering a lot of companies want to be part of this, even if they're not banks. They want to be part of it to help other people to participate. And then the last piece is we have the student movement, which you saw many people that's in this Power to Change talks, is that the students are hoping that they can also contribute in the society. So with this model, what we're seeing is that on one hand, when you design a model, a product, a solution, think about one, what are you reducing or relieving the new resource in the society? which we call minus. And plus is what are you contributing to the society with that resource, right? And the second piece is what we call care and simple. Is that on one hand, you need to find a way to resonate this care with people. Even though with like mass surveys, like people are neutral, say, we don't think environment is bad, right? But if you have a way to kind of resonate that little piece that they have, that they might find a reason to care, and then let them take a small action, which is the simple part. That don't let people take too big of action, a small one, which is like, switching to digital invoices, right? Something simple as that. That would help you to start opening up this as a network for other people to be in. So DOMI launched this less than 14 months ago. We're right now gaining the resource to operate in Japan, in Thailand, in Paraguay, to test this model to see how that would land. And then right now, so far, we have aggregated more than about 1.6 million people that participated in this small actions. And we're hoping with this small action, we can introduce them to taste Matt's beer, right? And then use Uproot, use all these other facility and business services that's good for the environment and society, so that it opens that door for more people to interact and to communicate on something that's this important, but we did not take it seriously before. So far, if you go to like DBS Bank in Taiwan, you see all these promotion inside the bank. That all the branches in Taiwan talking about how you can make that changes when you step into the bank branch, or like in terms of celebrity.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Aggie 谢佩恩，我今天来到新店的 IKEA。
And then we end up having celebrity come in and they realize what we're doing and they want to support by lending their voice. And lastly, the student movements, which is the incredible foundation and support of Power to Change. Because what we are doing here, we want to let people understand that one, we don't do this, we do this for ourselves. We're doing it for next generation. But with this involvement of students, we actually realize that the next generation is already here. So on one hand, we got to hustle up. On second is that it provides a very vivid, manifesting a very vivid vision that who are we fighting for, right? So that we can see all these faces that this is the world they want to live in, and like May said, carrying on the baton and go forward. So I think this is very interesting right now. As I've been doing business for more than 30 years, right? And excuse my shirt, I'm in the holiday mode. But this is an opportunity that never exists before. Corporate will never allow or have the space to do this, right? But with this particular space that opens up because of government needs it, investor needs it, society needs it, what do we do with that opportunity? Do we just provide a technical fix, which is that, yeah, so let's use less plastic, right? Let's use less paper. I don't mean that's a negative angle, but don't view this as the angle of, yeah, so we just come up with a technical solution to solve this. But can we take on an adaptive journey to bring people along for this change? This is what that opportunity means, right? To use this opportunity to communicate with your customers that they need to take on the world's issue right now, and then finding a way for them to be part of that journey with you, right? So like what Matt's doing, you know, you don't drink beers, you go beach cleanup with us. And then it's too hot, so you drink more beer, right? Build a positive cycle, right? So, so I think the business model is heading in a very interesting way right now that did not exist. I went to the first, like the #1 business school in the world. We created capitalism, but we never know that this was coming until now. And so we have this angle of, give me one second, let me eject this first. I want to show you this one. This one's easier to get. So going from the business mindset shifting, it's just business or is it purpose-driven business? The business network started to shift. Is it supply chain for business network or is it impact chain, right? The bottles that Matt buy from or the cups that you buy from, what do you tell them, right? Do you tell them that I need a cup or do you tell them that you're part of the solution, right? And then for business model, we're going from extractive model, which Matt talked about circular economy, to a regenerative model. How do we put more to our planet than we're taking out right now? And the leadership actually shift a lot. The company leadership used to be about shareholders. So everyone comes here to this company so that we can make money for our shareholders. But we're actually shifting to a stakeholders. We're here not only for the shareholders, but to benefit social society, employees, and all these issues around us. And lastly, I think for the team, it's no longer about how much money do I make, how much benefits do I have. But at the same time, I say same time, I'm not saying you should get less, okay? You still should get all the other stuff. But how do we build up the intrinsic motivation for people to act on these issues? So it's not a top-down. It's something that can be initiated in different part of the organization to look at issues, because the higher you go, the less information you have, right? So this is why I call it leading conscious culture. And I want to share with you, and I want to urge you, in September, there's another group of Asian business leaders coming together to go through this training together about how to do that. So there's a program that we developed called Adaptive Game Changer. And in September, this cohort will only open 2 cohorts a year. You will be working with real business people from GAMI, from Patapana, from Takamsa. These companies right now are actually either doing it or facing this challenge right now that trying to find solutions. So it's important in this journey that you really get the real hands-on experience with people that's going through that right now. So this is starting in September. And if you guys are interested, you can scan this QR code and then be part of that cohort. And we only have limited space per country because we want to have that country dialogue between people. And we have only, I think, 1 or 2 for students, because the conversation is still very, people on the field, exercise driven. But being a student, being part of that, you can understand the real challenge that people are facing. And if you're a business people that you want to develop your startups or you're looking into the careers, you should use that opportunity to understand why is company changing, and the people that they need right now, it's not what they're training you at school. I went to business school as well as all the people in the world that went to business school, right? None of us are trained for this, right? We're trained to not to care about people. I think the only problem that we're having this problem is because of business school. Is that we're trained to look at numbers. We're trained to exclude issues using laws, legal ways, trying to not to be responsible for as many things as possible so we can maximize our profit. But that's not what the company needs now, because they already have those people in the company. They are recruiting people that has a new mindset that can come in and drive them to a new change. So that means you need to pick up another set of skill set about how to make change by linking that with business and linking with your leadership. Because when you go into an organization, they expect you to lead, but they're not used to you leading. Okay, so you really need to learn how to do that. All right, so that's my sharing, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Corey. I think it's very insightful for especially those persons who are joining business persons. I can say for Karina, I'm not sure if you heard it, but she's she has this website, and in this website, Belizean business people will join the platform to sell their services, to sell their products. And she can be that person who can mold them into going a certain way. I'm not sure. Karina, are you still there?
Yes, Mays, I'm still here. 1 minute. Yes.
Hello, Karina.
Your voice went.
Oh yeah, it told me I was being muted or unmuted, so I had to double check. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I'm very interested in this, because I do think that sustainable packaging, creating sustainable businesses is very important. And because I'm going to be networking with so many Belizean entrepreneurs, and it's something that they are very much aware of. People in Belize care about the environment. They care about protecting the earth. And although they care about it, I feel like they don't know how to go about doing it and implementing it in their business. So this is why it's very important to gain as much information about it, so that whenever they have questions and so on, I can also provide them with some options and solutions as to how to go about making their business more environmentally friendly.
Mm-hmm. I think more people is gonna demand for products like that, and also coming from countries that they did not have before, because everything is so globalized that we started getting bored about the product that we're buying. And then second of all, it's slower for those companies to make change. Yes. So I think a fast mover right now that having a unique angle about social environmental will take on a lot of new customers. Yeah. So it's interesting what you're doing. It's great. Wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's been very informative and helpful to help them to think of it as an entire business model, as opposed to just how do I just get packaging that will not harm the environment, or packaging that we can reuse, but to focus on it as in what you are actually doing. I do have a question though, in regards to blockchain and the whole environmentally sustainable, because I look at the modules that you presented, going from, just models that create things and so on, and making connections with different businesses. And I'm wondering if at your company, you do have something in regards to blockchain, because one of the ideas I've heard a lot push surrounding blockchain is that it can be used to help customers that become better aware of the entire process of a product, from when the idea is initially created, to all the different companies that contribute towards it, so that people who care about the environment can then become 100% aware of all the companies that went into producing every single part of that product, so that they know they're getting a product that is more environmentally friendly than what we have been before. Because a lot of times a company can just put a sticker on their package and say, okay, we do this, but like, how do we prove that they are actually fully engaged in these practices?
Anyone want to take on that? I can take it. I can take it, but I just want to see if there's any thoughts in that too. I'm curious.
I wonder if Matt, do you have anything, Matt?
Okay, then let me take a stab at it then. I think there's two angles. If using blockchain as a angle to gain trust, right? That was what you were mainly describing.
Yes.
Then it's mostly company in the initial stage because they need to gain their customers' trust. But you have to look at it in the angle of how much cost that is, because blockchain is not cheap, right? So to really move your production's record on blockchain, it's not a cheap process. So for individual companies, especially in the starting position, it's not worth their time, right? I think that's the key, worth the time and the cost. But the second piece is that, is there other way to gain customers' trust? Because if you're really, really doing it, then it's more about how you do that communication. It's not about you move it on blockchain or not, because you can still fake it or move it on blockchain, right? So that's the same issue that DOMI had when we first started 7-8 years ago. It's that we told customer, every product you purchase, we're gonna plant trees. It turns out the most difficult part of our business model is not to convince customer to buy our product. It's actually going to plant tree, because planting tree is very difficult in Taiwan, right? And then, so in the beginning, we don't even believe it ourselves. Until we did the first tree planting in Thailand, that's when our heart kind of settles that, okay, we really did it, right? And then it's when we do the second time, we know we really mean it. Because you can do it for the first time and leave that as marketing and then don't do it anymore, right? But it's when we do the second time, the third time, that we start getting that belief that we believe it too. And your customers will start, that part takes time, right? Trust takes time. Your customer will start getting that trust. So in short, I think just for blockchain, just for trust purpose, I don't think that's worth the financial investment. But if there's another way to use blockchain as part of your business model, then that's something else. No. Okay. So for example, if you are working as a platform for other people to be on it, you invest in blockchain so that everyone else's cost is actually lower, then that might make sense, right? Because you are the person that's kind of qualifying and certifying company for them to be able to sell on your platform. So for your business model might make sense, but for individual ones, I think it might get too costly.
Okay. I have another question in regards to what you just shared, actually. So you said that you told people you're going to plant trees, right? And you didn't really believe it. Do you find that communicating that to your customers after you've done it multiple times became a lot easier because you also believed in it more than you did before?
For sure. I think the first communication, the first customer take us 11 times to get the first customer over 4 months time. And then I think about a year later, it's about every 1.2 customer that we approach, we get the business. Okay. So I think customer also are evaluating you, right? But also the more that you really do it, your confidence level and trust level. In the beginning, it was all like, guts and
the dream
commitments. Like, hey, I'm gonna do it. And then people say, look at you. Yeah, a lot of people have dreams, right? Yeah. But are you really going to do it? And so it's important that you follow through. Once you follow through, like it shows in your communication. And then also the customers. And for example, the poverty household, we went into about 4,000 poverty households. The poverty household actually share their experience on Facebook. And that gain, you're no longer talking about yourself, other people's talking about you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
That's true. I wanted to mention, Karina or anybody else who's there, you remember the program that Tori was talking there that they started it in Thailand and they started it in Paraguay. They also tried to do it in Belize, right, Corey?
Yes.
Yeah, they're reaching out to the business and they're saying, don't send out paper receipts or paper bills, and work with us, and then we can do something for the society. In turn, do something for the society. I remember we tried, right, Corey?
Yes. So it will be wonderful that we can really land in Belize next year. This year we kind of have our hands full of of working for this, this 3 countries going in parallel. But it will be wonderful that we did some learning, we did some researching with Christina Lewis here and AJ, that we were looking at ways that potentially in the country, but we also found some potential barriers. So we have now moved forward. So it will be great that we, if there are people interested, that we can continue the conversation about how to land it in the country.
And going back to what Corey said, the youths there are.
I think we just lost May.
His voice went away.
Christina, do you want to take over?
Yeah, I think we just lost her. Okay, while waiting for her to be back on, because I think our session is almost up, so maybe we can open to the floor, like for maybe one more questions for Corey or for oh yeah, okay, so May is back. Are you back, May? You're muted. Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay, back to you.
Yes, I don't know what I said last.
You're talking about students.
I was saying that they were the ones that agreed to share their videos with me so that I could share it on my platform. And they're already making a difference, the younger generation. And so I want to applaud them via this medium for moving forward, for pushing us, the older generation, to continue doing something for them. And we can work hand in hand so that we can help the environment, we can help each other. And thank you so much. I want to say thank you to Matt and Corey for giving me this platform to be able to share with the audience, not just whoever joined us, but who will watch the video later on. And I hope they can get 0.01 wiser or a little more apprehensive of what they're doing for this earth. And now I want to ask Christina to take over, and we're going to take a group picture.
Yes, okay.
Sadly, some of our viewers have left, but that's okay. We still have you guys.
Yeah, okay, so if it's possible, we'd like you guys to turn on your camera and we will take a group photo together. So I will count down.
Hi
hello.
there.
Okay, I will count down. So if possible, Sonia, Bernabe, AJ, Christian Lewis, Christine, Carrie, and Esther, if it's possible, then we can turn on the camera and then we can take a photo together.
AJ, you got a new hairstyle.
All right, so I'll count down 3, 2, 1. All right, one more, 3, 2, 1. Okay, all right then, that's it. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mays.
Good to see you guys.
Okay, thanks. Oh, there, we have one. Do we take another one?
Oh, can, no problem. AJ, would you like to turn on your camera again?
Take them back.
Okay, I take one more photo. 3, 2, 1.
Yay.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Mays.
We got even more people. So you see, even though we just see one name on the screen, We have other people in the back too. That was very fun. Thanks, Karina. Okay, I don't have any more questions. I'm not sure if Matt or Corey have any questions, or Christina.
So guys, reach out. Let's find each other, because we need those. We need to send those message out that on one hand we want to make changes, and we're demanding companies to do so. On the second hand, we need to kind of drive down our learning curve, as fast as possible together. So, like Karina was asking, well, where do you find those information? Well, find each other, then you find the information quicker than doing it one person, right? So, so yeah, just find ways to dig out anybody here, and Matt and Christina and Mays can find me anytime, so they have access to me. So just feel free to reach out.
And, and Corey, one more thing, because I know that Power to Change focuses on students, but how about those who are no longer students? What if they want to also help?
I think that's under Christina's territory. She's actually thinking about that, because we are actually having more and more people from different parts of Taiwan that they already graduated, but they want to be part of it. And yes, we're definitely, it's amazing to be able to do this together. So yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.